Welcome to AccountKit. In this video tutorial, we are going to showcase how you can update your users within the system. As an administrator with user access management, you can click on your name down the bottom and you should see this option available within your practice settings toggle. Once you're in the user management page, to add a new employee, we have the plus icon up the top of the screen. Select Add New Employee and this will take you to the creation page. Add in your staff member's first and last name, add in their email, and if you so choose, as optional options you can add in the mobile number and birthday. We then want to select the role of the user. This is for visibility purposes primarily, allowing certain levels of staff to see certain elements. For example, partners and practice administrators can see the organizational dashboard when you connect up a Zero Blue file, however managers and employees cannot. You'll see some guidelines around this in our other onboarding videos. We then move down to our user permissions, and these are designated to give certain levels of access to key staff in the business. First, we have our champion. And this is our primary contact for all things AccountKit. When we reach out for major updates or support items, this primary role here will be utilized for us to reach out and contact your business. The next step will be those who want administrator access. There are two options here where we have System Administrator and Super Administrator. A System Administrator can be given access to practice settings, allowing them to set up all different preferences for your various tools. This will also allow them to do certain things around the platform, such as archiving and editing certain client details, and allowing them to adjust certain elements in different areas such as workflow templates and so on. Please see our other videos for a breakdown of what a system admin can do. The next level up is a Super Administrator. And a Super Administrator has the power above all. When you're selected as a Super Admin, you can surpass or bypass any settings within the platform, even including user restrictions and restricted client groups. Super Admin is the ultimate power and is generally reserved for one or two users in your organization who are in charge of the AccountKit system. When you select a Super Admin, the third option down the bottom here for user access will disappear. However, a system admin may not necessarily have user management, allowing you to toggle this off for those that you want to be able to set up practice settings, but not necessarily have user access management. Which takes us to our next option here, which is the ability to toggle on those staff that have the ability to edit users within the platform, as we are doing right now. When this is highlighted green, that user can then see that option. When this is toggled off, that user will no longer see user management under their name down the bottom left of screen. And then finally, we have client access level. By default, all employees will be brought on at the modifier level. However, if you would like to restrict this down to view only, or you would like to increase this up to full, you can do so by simply toggling those options. And when you do, it will tell you what client level access that particular role type has. Finally, if you have already set up restricted groups within your practice settings, you can then select this staff member's access to those particular groups, allowing them to see, let's say, the Ben B family group here by selecting them as an option. Over on the right, we have the ability to select a photo to upload for that employee, add in a standard phone number, not just the mobile number, the time zone they reside in, and who they report to in the platform. Once you have filled in all of the necessary elements, hit Send Invite, and that staff member will receive an email invite on their side. From that invite, they will also set up their 2FA. So let's have a look at a user here as an example, Ben Barker. He has the champion role and super admin access across the platform. If we go across to the right here, we will also see that he has his multi-factor authentication set up using his phone app. If this is not highlighted, generally speaking, that staff member either hasn't set up their multi-factor authentication or they're using Xero to log into the platform. If at any time we would like to remove an employee from the system, we simply click on their little status icon over on the right and archive that user. Note that disable will only disable their access, it will not remove them from the system, and this is handy where someone might be going on extended leave. You would like to disable them, but you'd not like to remove their authority or any of their elements that they've already got assigned to them within the platform. Archiving a user, however, will remove them in their entirety, and any, let's say, Xero Blue files that they've connected will need to be reauthorized by a different staff member. And then if someone is having login issues and you've verified with them that they need to be unblocked, you can come in and unblock a user as required, allowing them to log in. Within AccountKit, we also have a second user type called guests. To add a new guest, it is very similar to an employee. Simply enter in their name and details, an email address, and various details accordingly. However, guests' permissions are cut down, and these are a restricted user with a restricted price line as well. So each guest permission user will be based on your local currency. For example, in Australia, guest permission users are $20 as compared to the full price of an employee. A guest user is designed to be simply a guest within the platform, allowing you to only assign a specific module, let's say the ability to only use the Div7a tool, and only have a certain level of access, so they only have the ability to modify those tools. But we also need to tell the system which client they have access to in the system, otherwise they will also still not be able to see anything. So we can say they can only complete this particular tool for this particular client, and that is all they will see within the system. This gives you the ability to handle offshore staff who are just in the system for processing purposes, the ability to invite external users or third parties, or the ability to invite even your clients to the system where they may want to utilize your inter-entity loan tools or other various functions that might be handy for them to utilize across the platform. Again, once you have selected your options, simply send invite and it'll send through accordingly. If you accidentally set a staff to a guest and would like to move them to an employee, you are most welcome to reach out to AccountKit support via the help center down the bottom left of screen, and we can update that client or that user to a standard employee user as required. And that's how user management works within AccountKit. Thank you.